All right, so we're going to go through our second review for the Unit 1, Topic 1 assessment. I should feel very familiar. It's just like the other one. I just changed the names and the numbers in it. So, number 1, Ben and Joe love winning. Ben won 8 more games than Joe. Now, here's our let statement. Let B represent the wins for Ben. All right, and remember, Ben won 8 more. So I'm to write an expression, and no equal signs, expression for Joe's wins. Okay, so Ben won more, his number is larger. So if Ben, the larger one, is B, how do I get to that smaller amount for Joe? Well, I would have to subtract 8. Right. Dave is designing a rectangular cage for his new house. The width is 5 more than 4 times the length. And our let statement here, L stands for length. So I know I'm going to use L in my expression. And again, it is an expression for width. So how big is the width? Well, it's 5 more than, so 5 plus 4 times the length, 4L. So if you just do this in little pieces, start with the variable that you know you've got to compare width to length. Your variable's L. Get that on your paper and then see how it compares. It's 5 more than, that tells me to add 5, 4 times the length. You could also have written this with the 4 times the length in front and then plus 5 after. Okay, old Ryan's emptying his piggy back here again. This time he's looking at quarters and nickels. Okay, so X stands for number of quarters. And we can see here in his expression that he's multiplying the value of a quarter, 25 cents, times the number of quarters. Okay, so this is quarters. So why would he be multiplying this expression times 0.05? Well, that represents 5 cents. So what would you multiply by 5 cents? This must be the number of nickels. Okay, so he has X quarters, he has X plus 12 nickels. So, which of these, and there might be more than one, which apply? There are 12 more nickels than quarters. Let's see, quarters there were X, nickels there was X, and then 12 added to it. So yes, that works. There are 12 more quarters than nickels? No, that's exactly opposite of what we just said was true. There are the same number of nickels as quarters. Well, if that were true, they would both be X, or they would both be X plus 12. That's not true. And again, there's not enough information. We can't pick that unless we haven't chosen any of the other ones, so no. And we can explain this kind of like we did with the first review. We would say, since X plus 12 is multiplied by 0.05, we know X plus 12 is the number of nickels. And since it's adding 12 to the X, that's larger than the X's. Okay, number 5, we have one of our complex looking fractions again. It's already alone on that side of the equation. So I'm ready to eliminate the denominator. So we are dividing by 5 this time. If you multiply both sides by 5, you've gotten rid of that, and you're left with just the numerator 7 times quantity x minus 2. That's equal to 14 times 5, which is 70. What gave me the right to multiply both sides by 5? The multiplication property of equality. Okay. We do have parentheses, so we'll need to distribute. 7 times x is 7x. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. And you're allowed to distribute because of the distributive property. The variables are all on one side. So, I'm sorry, I don't have any like terms. I looked, but I don't. The variables are all on one side. So I'm ready to eliminate any addition or subtraction. Since there's a negative 14 on this side, I will add 14 to both sides. I'm allowed to add 14 to both sides because of the addition property of equality. And lastly, to eliminate multiplication by 7, I will divide both sides by 7. So x will be equal to 12, and that is justified with the division property of equality. All right, last one. We have our equation 6y minus 20 equals negative 8y plus 36. There is no parentheses on either side, so there's no distributing. There are no like terms that are already together on a side, so that step is unneeded. And the third step, we are trying to make all of our variables appear on one side. So 6y is larger than negative 8y, so I will cancel the negative 8y. I do that by adding 8y to both sides. All right, so 6y plus 8y is 14y. There's still a minus 20. 36. I'm allowed to add 8y to both sides because of the addition property of equality. I'm ready to remove any addition or subtraction that's in my way. So there's subtraction by 20. I will add 20. So 14y is equal to 56. That is again justified by the addition property of equality. And finally, since we are multiplying by 14 here, the inverse of that is to divide both sides by 14. So y is equal to 56 divided by 14 is 4. And that, once again, since we're dividing on both sides, is the division property of equality.